You know, the last few times that I have talked about Blonde Blazer and Dispatch, I've been a little bit hyped up. I've been a little bit in my shit. And some people have gotten a little pissed, or they kind of take my comments to mean that I hate Invisigal or that I feel my way is the only fucking way. I've gotten called out even by some, loyal followers that I'm going on rants and just going crazy. To be honest, yeah, I probably do. My wife even tells me, somebody even told me that I need real flesh and bone, like a real flesh and bone girlfriend, because I'm taking this shit way too serious. Okay. But my wife tells me on a consistent basis sometimes that I go on rants about things, or I talk, like if I like something, I go crazy on it. So the reason that I even say all of that, like really I prefaced that because I personally think that Robert would have chosen Blonde Blazer / Mandy canonically. Is that how you say the word? Canonically? Canonically? I don't even know how to fucking say the word. Canonically. I think it's how you say it. But I think he would have. I think if the choice was ripped out of our hands and Robert was a real fucking person and he went to make his decisions and he went to do what he did in his life, I really, 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 really think he would have chosen Blonde Blazer. Now, the argument seems to be, and people push it very heavily, that Blonde Blazer was failed. We talked about that in another video. We talked about how the facts support that Blonde Blazer kind of goes missing in the middle of the game. Episodes, 5 and 6 maybe? She goes like missing. And the game pushes you towards Invisigal. The game gives you hints time and time again about how you should choose Invisigal. And if I say something like, well, I don't know that I fully agree with that, people will tell me, no, I mean, we don't give a fuck if you agree or not. The facts is that she didn't get the screen time she deserved. She didn't get the attention she should have gotten. And even the developers have come out and said that they wished they would have given Blazer more screen time, more respect, so they could have balanced the choices a little bit more. But what I'm trying to say, and what I've been trying to say for a long time, is that I get all of that. All of that makes sense. Even when I was playing the game, I felt in my head, I'm saying, damn, where's fucking Blazer? I need to see her. I want to see her. But what I was kind of getting at is that low key, if you watch and play the game, I guess, to me, it's blatantly obvious that Blazer and Robert were meant to be together. That's a wild statement because I know that it differs. I know that other people are like, no, it doesn't, not really, motherfucker. It's actually Invisigal if you really pay attention. But to me, on a personal level, that's how it felt. And when I look at the fucking story, the very first episode, like really quickly, we'll bring that into here. Robert is down, getting his ass beat. This beautiful goddess-looking woman appears in the sky. He's like, what the fuck is that? She comes down, she gives him his hand, she talks to him, they have fun. He's going through a rough time. He might fuck with her, might not. He tells her his origin story a little bit. He allows her to take off his mask to reveal his identity, which is something that he holds very near and dear to his heart. That's like, I wouldn't do that. That's like Spider-Man hiding his identity. It's not something that he just does randomly. So him allowing Blazer to take it off, he was feeling something in that moment, whether you kissed or not. Something was going on in his head. So if you choose the kiss option, he kisses her. It looks beautiful. It looks awesome. It looks like a love story, the beginning of a love story. And then when he goes home, he puts on his little camera a video of Blonde Blazer and he watches her. And he says to his little doggy, I met a nice lady today and she wants to help us. He was clearly liking her. He was clearly vibing with her. And again, so in my head, I think if you had to have something to be canon, I think Robert, the person that he is, the maturity level that he showed, the sarcasm, how realistic he was about life, the stuff that he was going through, I really, really think that in that moment in his life and time, he would have chosen Blonde Blazer over anybody because she seemed to be like this great thing that came into his life, this love at first sight type of thing. And I've kind of been wanting to get that point across over all the videos that I've made on Blonde Blazer and Dispatch and Robert, but it just feels like I can't really get my point across. It feels like I'm not maybe explaining myself correctly, but that's kind of what I'm feeling. Just the type of person that Robert was. I don't necessarily think that he would have wanted to be with somebody like Invisigal, who's, yes, a broken character, yes, a complicated character, yes, a character that maybe needs love as well, and you can give it to her, but I felt like it was more of a mentorship with her. I really felt that he wouldn't want a woman like her that's very punching him all the time, cracking wise-ass jokes all the time, making his life a little bit more harder than it should be in the moment, because in the moment he's going through a lot of shit and maybe he wants some peace and some calmness and some clarity in his life. And I just felt that he wouldn't want to go for a woman who is very chaotic and very unpredictable. I just don't think he would have had the energy to deal with that. And with Blazer, it just seemed very different. With Blazer, it seemed like he was at peace and calm. And that's kind of what I'm saying. So when you go through that first episode, I don't give a crap if Blonde Blazer appears much or not afterwards, because at that point, it's set for me. I don't have to see my woman all the time to be like, yeah, that's mine right there. I don't. Like, I can go a little bit without seeing her and, mentor and do some other shit that I gotta do. But, when I see her, be like, oh yeah, there she is. Let's go out to dinner. Let's do something. So I don't know. I felt like the interactions between Robert and Mandy just felt more mature, felt more genuine, felt more real, felt like honest love. With Mandy, they just always felt a little bit like too playful almost, like a little bit too, she kind of is, I don't know. I don't want to use the word annoying, but she's kind of like just making shit harder than it should be. It just doesn't seem like that type of relationship, okay? And I don't know, maybe I'm tripping, maybe I'm wilding out, but it was just something that I have video ideas where I've written them down, and this was one of those video ideas that I kind of had that I wanted to just touch on a little bit more before we moved on to something completely different, and I was just having difficulty with that. I mean, other moments that I can point out where Robert is really just into Blazer is when he walks by after having a rough ass morning and he sees Blazer and he just smiles and he's happy to see her and he moves on. He doesn't even speak to her, but just her presence made him feel calmer, made him feel better. The way she is towards him and the way that he is. And other scenes too, like when Chase is at the hospital and she's there with him, helping him out. When she comes to his rescue again and she tells him that she wasn't done saving him. She risked her life for Robert. All of this stuff makes it seem to me like the relationship was always really meant to be between them two. Now, whether that's a fact or not, it's not what I'm talking about, right? Because some people have said, well, the story was supposed to focus on Invisigal first, and it was supposed to be Robert, and Blonde Blazer was added later. So it wasn't like the creators of Dispatch said, oh yeah, we're gonna make a love story between this character named Blonde Blazer and Robert, and it's gonna focus on them. They have stated that they came into this with open ideas, with open arms, and stuff kind of just started flowing and happening. And then when everybody started reacting to their work and people started talking about, well, I like this or I like that, then they started saying, all right, let's take this shit a little more serious. Let's figure out some more things. Let's dive deeper into these characters. So to me, the whole game of Dispatch just feels like this mentorship of Robert trying to get his life together, falling in love with this woman named Blonde Blazer, who's supposed to be this great hero, but she has this side of her that nobody really knows, just like him, this side that nobody really knows. He's Mecha Man. He deals with all this grief, and who can really help him with that? Who can bring him to the other side? Who can take care of him? Who can look out for him? Who can look after him? Blonde Blazer. She provides that stability and calmness, that goodness. And I just felt that shit never really worked with Invisigal. And then some people have even told me, you should go back and do a replay of the game, but do the Visi path. I don't want to. I don't want to. And I know that other people have done that. And I know that I could probably do that and make a whole series about, whoa, wow, you know what? Visi is actually the one for Robert. Or after playing Dispatch again, my opinion changed on Blake. No. Why would I do that? Now, if I do that, more than likely those shits would probably get views and a lot of engagement because now it's getting switched. Now, my opinion is different. But it wouldn't be the truth, bro. It honestly wouldn't be the truth. It would be not a good thing for me to do. I wouldn't be genuine about it, and my mind would be all kind of fucked up because I made different choices and it'd be weird. I can just tell by the vibe between Robert and Visi that it just doesn't seem there. Even when you don't go her path and you choose Blazer and she ambushes you kind of in the locker room by kissing you, that felt like the right thing to do too. That felt like the right thing to do to push her off a little bit. I don't know, man. Look, this is just something that I was thinking. I just think because of the way they speak to each other, because of what Blazer brings to Robert, what she can provide to him, it feels like Robert would have gone her route in a canon way if there is one. There isn't a real canon ending. I know some people will tell you there is and there's not, but I really don't think there is. I think that the developers are trying to figure that out still. What path are they really going to go? And they're going to have to choose one, I think, eventually, I think they're going to have to choose one. So yeah, there's so many instances where it just feels like it makes sense. And maybe this will only ever make sense to me. Maybe I just ranted again without actually proving any fucking point. But I wanted to get that off my chest again because I saw some comments on a previous dispatch video that I just felt like, well, okay, my point clearly didn't get across, and maybe it didn't again here. I don't know. For the next dispatch stuff that will be coming out over the next few days / weeks, it's not going to be centered around Blazer and Robert and the love there. No, it's gonna be more on the lore of Z Team, Phenomenon Man, some stuff about him that I find very interesting about his character, some other stuff to do with Robert, some season 2 things for dispatch. So we're going to branch off a little bit away from Blonde Blazer and Robert's relationship. I know I've talked a lot about that over the past few weeks. I've just really been into it, but we're gonna move on a little bit into other dispatch stuff. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. If any news for dispatch comes out, we will obviously be covering that. So